Hello, this is Chaitanya, and you are watching my channel. It's beginning, and this is my first episode on Leetcode series in my channel, and I will use Python language for this series. And I will go to in this series, I will go to Leetcode website, and I will try to explore some problems, and I will try to solve those problems in by using Python, and and also I will explain those problems in two methods. First method is a logical method, which I will submit the answers in Leetcode, and the second method is a normal method, in where I will show that problem how to solve in normal method in Jupyter Notebook. And this is my question for this episode. And the question is on partition array such that maximum difference is k. And when it comes to the question, first, let me read the question, and I will divide the question into three parts, and I will explain the question in a neat manner. And here, here you are given an integer array nums and an integer k, and you may partition nums into one or more subsequences such that each element in nums appears in exactly one of the subsequences, and then return the maximum number of subsequences needed such that the difference between the maximum and minimum values in each subsequence is at most k. And a subsequence is a sequence that can be derived from another sequence by deleting some or no elements without changing the order of remaining elements. Means what he had said means you are given an integer array with variable name nums. Means first, we had given, first we have to enter a array with variable name nums, and also we have to enter a variable name with k, and it has to be a integer. And then, here you can see, and then we have to partition nums into one or more subsequences. Means we have to divide the nums array into subsequences. Here, the subsequences are nothing but it is the subparts of the array. Means we will divide the one array into parts, into subparts. For example, uh, if we contain if we exist a array, and we when we divide that array into three parts, and these three parts are known as subsequences. and and when it comes to the question, such that each element in nums appears in exactly one of the subsequence. Means in subsequence, each element in the nums has to be appears exactly one time of in the subsequence. Means, for example, if a array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the array, and the subsequences are, uh, or I divide that array into two subsequence. Means, for example, I will show you in Notepad. Uh, for example, nums is the variable name of the array, and I had taken this as a array, and I am going to divide this array into two subparts. Means 1, 3, 5 is the first subsequence, and 2, 4, 6 is the another subsequence. Means here the element of the num array has to be appears exactly one time in the subsequence. Means here one has to be appear only once in the subsequence. Either in first subsequence or in second subsequence, but it doesn't makes repeat in another subsequence when it present at a subsequence. Means here in first subsequence one is appeared, then the then in second subsequence one doesn't need to be appear. Means we had for one element it has to be appears only one time in when an array is divided into subsequences, and then return the minimum number of subsequences needed such that the difference between the maximum and minimum values in each subsequence is at most k. Means, for example, k equals to k equal to 1. I take k equal to 1. Means, uh, for example, k equal to 1. When for example, the difference between here, I want to divide these array into subsequences. How I can divide these array into subsequence means, and then here the k value is 1. And first we have taken element, first element in nums as here, then first element is 1. And then the second element is 2. And then the third element is 3. For example, the maximum number of these subsequence is 3, and the uh, minimum number of these subsequence is 1. Means the difference between the 3 minus 1 is 2. So 3 is not exist in these subsequence. And let me remove this number. And when it comes to these elements the the maximum number is 2 and the minimum number is 1, and then the difference between the maximum and minimum number is 1, so it exists a subsequence. Here when the number third element of this num array as in when it enter into that third element, it uh, doesn't exist that condition. So it will return the value to the next subsequence. Means nothing but it will start a new subsequence of that array. Then here it will continues as 3. Here it will continue as minimum number is 3, and then when we and then 4 and then 5. Here 5 does not exist in that subsequence. Means because 5 the difference between the 5 and 3 is the maximum and minimum number difference is become 2. So 5 doesn't exist in second subsequence. So it will return the value to start a next subsequence. And in this way, 5 comma 6 with subsequence will be exist comes to exist. And here, even here you can also see the difference between the maximum number 6 and the minimum number 5 is 1. And in this way For to return the value, the after 6 there is no value, so it doesn't return any value, and the loop will be end. And in this way, the the sequence will be divided into subsequences, n number of subsequence by the condition k equals to 1. And then when it comes to the question, a subsequence is a sequence that can be derived from another sequence by deleting some or number of elements without changing the order of remaining element. Means when you are making a subsequences, the subsequence the elements which are present in the sequence has to be order has to be same when it comes to the subsequence. For suppose if the subsequence one has to be the for suppose so keep the condition aside for a while and follow, please observe these condition. And for example, if the first subsequence is 1, 3, 5, and the second subsequence is 2, 4, 6. Let me show you. First subsequence is 1, 3, 5, and the second subsequence is 2, 4, 6. Here, when we are dividing a sequence into subsequences, the order does not change for the sequence of the subsequences. Means here the order of these elements are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the first subsequence we take as 1, 3, 5, and second subsequence we taken as 2, 4, 6. Means we are remove the second element in the sequence and we enter 3 in subsequence, and then we remove 4 in the sequence and we enter 5 in first subsequence. But we did not change the order 1, 5, 3, 1, 5, 1, 3, 5 as 1, 5, 3 or 5, 3, 1. And because here the question has the condition, the elements has to be in same order which present in sequence. And then when it comes to question, they given a example. Example one as here the inputs mm, are two. Here they given two inputs. The first input they given a array nums equal to 3 comma 6 comma 1 comma 2 comma 5, and then they had given second input as k equal to 2, as yeah it is a condition. Condition nothing but the minimum value and the maximum value of the subsequences has to be 2. If it more than 2, it doesn't exist in that subsequence. It will return the value to the main sequence, and those values will be go into the next subsequences. And if the difference between the minimum value and the maximum value is less than 2, then it will even those values are also exist into that subsequence, and then the output is 2. Means here this sequence has divided into two subsequences, and this is the value of the number of subsequences of the main sequences. Means here they given they given a sequence and they given a condition, and then the output has to be how many subsequences has divided by the main sequences by the help of that condition. And when it comes to the code formation, first we have to first we will take first we will take a sequence. Here the sequence is as they given. First we will take condition and array. Here we have taken the given sequence and the condition, and then we will try to divide these sequence into the subsequences by obeying the k equal to 2 condition. Here when it comes to first element, uh, when it comes to formation of subsequences, it will take the first element of the sequence to form a subsequence. The first element is 3, and then it will take second element of the main sequence. It will goes to the second element of the main sequence. Then here the 6, the difference between 3 and 6 is it doesn't obey the condition k equal to 2. So it will return the value to the main sequence, and then it will take the next element of the main sequence. Next element is 1. Uh, Here the 1 will become the minimum value, and the 3 will become as maximum value, and the difference is 2. It will obey the condition k equal to 2. So it will keeps the element, and then it will take the next element of the main sequence. Here the element here the difference between the 2 and 3, 3 will become as maximum number, and here between these the difference as 1. Then it will obeys the condition, and then when it comes to the fifth uh, 5 number, when it enter into the subsequence, the 5 will become the maximum number, and the 1 will become as minimum number. The difference between the 5 and 1 is 4, so it does not exist in this subsequence. It will return the value, and the remaining values are 6. The first return value is 6. So it will take 6 as the order of the main sequence. It will take the numbers to form another subsequence, and first it will take 6, and then 1 is completed and 2 is completed, and then 5 is there, and the difference between these are 1. So it will obey the condition k equal to 2, because 1 is less than 2, so it will form a subsequence. In this way, it will form two subsequences. Uh, but here there is we will use a sorting method for two sorting method. Why? Because uh, it will be a long it will be long to find the which is lot which is maximum number which is maximum number, and which is a minimum number. When we sort the values, it will form as 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. It will be These values are beside because the minimum values and maximum values are mostly beside values only. So when the forming when we are forming subsequences, it will take the less time. For example, uh, but even we will use the sorting method, the subsequences has to be formed by the order of the main sequence only. But for to formation of the subsequences uh, in a fast way, we will use sorting method. But the elements which are formed in the subsequences has to be follow the sequence of the main sequence only. Here, when it comes to first element, first element is 3. When we are forming the subsequence, it will take first element, as I said, 3, and then it will for to go third element, it has to be check. It has to be checked. And when it comes to the sorting method, first it will directly take the first element as 3, and then it doesn't need more time to go for the element 1. Means when we sorting those nums, the 1 is present at 1, but here the 1 is present at as a third element. Means it will take less time for to take one number. And when it comes to 2, here it has to be go for the fourth position, but here the 2 is only present in only in second position, so it will takes less time to get that element, so we will use sorting method. And now I will show the actual coding part where I submitted in Leetcode website. Here you can see. Here first I created the class, and then I had defined the variables which are used in this code, and then I had sorted the nums array, and then uh, nums array. After the sorting a nums array, we had to divide the uh, nums array into subsequences. First, I had taken the subsequence as 0 because these will represent there is no subsequence for the nums array, and then the current value, and then it will takes the current value to form the subsequence. The current value will be the element of the nums, means it will take the zeroth index of the nums array, and then for nth element in nums, if n minus current value is greater than k, then subsequence will be increment by once, and then the current element will be n, and then and then it will return the increment of subsequence. In this way, Google I had submitted my problem, and then the result is, and then the code also executed. And now I will show how this code actually works when we write in normal methods. Here you can see first I had defined the class for define first I had defined the variables. where I used as inputs as nums and integer k, and then I had sorted. And then I had I had to be sort the variable nums, and then the subsequence of the num is 0, and then it will takes the current value from the nums as following this its index value, and then it will and then we write a condition by using for loop for n in nums. For suppose n is the number in nums, and the difference between the if the difference between the n minus the current value is greater than k, then the subsequence has to be increment by once. Means it will start a new subsequence, and the and the first element of the incremented subsequence has to be n, and uh, then and if and then it has to be return the value. And here I had taken the nums as the example one input and k equal to 2, and then for to print that result, and I taken these two lines here. I mention a result as the class name, and then defined variables, and then I had used print for to print these variable. I had stored the values of nums and k variable into the result, and then I had printed the result by by this line. And here you can see when I execute this code, it will gives the 2 as output. And that's it for this video. If you like this video, please share, subscribe my channel.